At random, they are placed next to each other to give a two-digit number. Find the probability that the two-digit number is less than 30. So for two-digit numbers, I will have two positions that I need to find the probability for. In the first position, if it has to be less than 30, then only one number can appear, and that is 2. So I'm going to say that the probability of selecting 2 is 1 out of 5. And any other digit could appear on the second position. So I could have 4, 5, 6, or 3. So I can say that's 4 out of 4. So the probability of this is 1 over 5. Then the next part says list all the two-digit numbers that are prime. So I will need a list of numbers. So I start off with 23. Yes, that's a prime number. I'm going to count that. 24 is not a prime number. 25 is not a prime number, and 26 is also not a prime number. Then I start off with 3 as the starting number, so I get 32, which is not a prime number. Then I get 34, which is also not a prime number. 35, which is also not a prime number. And 36, which is also not a prime number. And I start with 42, and 43 is a prime number. 45 is not a prime number. 46 is also not a prime number. Then 52 is not a prime number. 53 is a prime number. 54 and 56 are not. Then 63 is not, 62 is not, 65 is not, and 64 is not. So 23, 43, and 53. Find the probability that the two-digit number is a multiple of 4. Okay, so I need to find, now this is a tough question because it's going to have some overlapping numbers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a list of all the numbers that I could possibly create with the cards that are provided to me. So I'm going to say that the numbers that I could create were 23, 24, 25, and 26. Then 32, 34, 35, and 36. Then 42, 43, 45, and 46. And then 52, 53, 54, and 56. 62, 63, 64, and 65. I have a total of 20 numbers. How many of these are multiples of 4? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 numbers that are multiples of 4. I'm going to quickly check my answer. Okay, then it says Rohan throws a dice 200 times. The bar chart shows this result. And there's some things about the bar chart that I've mentioned already. It says use the chart to complete the table of results. So I'm just going to read the numbers from here. That tells me that's 35. Then this looks like 38. So at the end 38. And this looks like 22. Using Rohan's results, find the relative frequency that he threw a number less than 3. So the relative frequency is basically the frequency of the category divided by the total, which is 200. Okay, it's like calculating the probability. So 28 divided by 200 gives me 7 over 50, which in decimals is 0.14. Says Rohan says that the die has thrown is not a fair dice. Make 2 comments to explain why the dice may not be fair. Some numbers have appeared and as seen in the previous part, the relative frequency is 28 over 0.14, whereas it should be 0.167. Which is basically 1 over 6. I'm just going to verify my answers for this question. Question number 6. Okay, 1/5, 23, 43, 6 over 20, and 35, 22, and 38. All of these are correct answers. Just going over the number. Let's do number less than 3. I'm sorry, this is wrong. When I say less than 3, I should add up all of them. And I get 77 over 200, which is 0.385, whereas it should be 1 over 2, which is 0.5. Okay. The table shows the values for y equals to 4 power x. It says complete the table. So I'm just going to write 4 power 0, which is 1, and 4 power 0.5, which is 2. Complete the table, draw the graph. So I'm going to start plotting 0 and 1, 0.5 and 2, 1 and 4, 1.5 and 8, 2 and 16, 2.5 and 32. This is what we call an exponential graph. It's rising rapidly now. Okay, by drawing a tangent, estimate the gradient of the curve when x equals to 2. So I drew this line. This coordinate is 2, 16. And let's look for one more. Something that I could easily read. I think this is close to 1.75, 10. I'm going to use those 2.16 minus 10 and 2 minus 1.75. 6 divided by 0.25, and that should give me 24. Okay, 18 to 27 is an acceptable answer for this part. Any number between 18 and 27. Okay, then it says the solutions of the equation 3 power 4x plus ax plus b can be found by the point from the points of intersection of these two. find the values of a and b. So when I talk about points of intersection, I'm talking about solving simultaneously. I bring everything to one side, but what I realize is when I compare this to the one in the question, I don't have a 3 here. So in order to introduce a 3 here, I need to multiply the entire equation and actually both sides by 3. So this becomes 3 into 4 power x, this becomes 60x, and this becomes 36. So a is minus 60 and b is 36. Then it says by drawing a line y equals to 20x minus 12. So in order to draw this line, I'm going to insert 0, which is not very good. Let's insert 1, that gives me 8, and let's insert 2, that gives me 28. So 1 comma 8 and 2 comma 28. Okay. So find all the solutions. So this looks like 0.75, and this looks like 2.65. Okay, then it says here's a sketch of a quadratic function. The curve has a minimum point, maximum point at p comma q. Find the value of p and q. What you should know about the maximum point of the curve is that it lies exactly between these two lines. So remember that it's the midpoint of these two. So I get 2 over 2, which is 1. So p is 1, and I don't know q. I'm going to try to find out q, but what I realize is that I don't have the equation of this graph. So I write down the standard equation of a quadratic function, and I say that it's ax squared plus bx plus c. Now if I notice, c is 8, and I have 2 points to help me find out a and b. So what I do is I know that this is minus 2 comma 0 and this is 4 comma 0. So I insert those 2 points. I say that 0 equals to a times minus 2 squared plus b times minus 2 plus 8. That gives me 4a minus 2b equals to minus 8. And 0 equals to a times 4 squared plus b times 4 plus 8. I get 16a plus 4b plus 8. So I get 16a plus 4b. So I have two equations. Now in order to solve these simultaneously, I will have to adjust at least one of them. So I'm just adjusting the lower one. This becomes 8a minus 4b to minus 16. This cancels out. 24a equals to minus 24, a equals to minus 1. When a equals to minus 1, b equals to 2. So y equals to minus x squared plus 2x plus 8. Nine and 1. Okay, question number 8. A birthday cake is in the shape of a cylinder. There are 2 layers of cake and 1 layer of icing. Each layer of cake has a radius of 10 and a height of 3. The icing between the 2 layers of cake has radius 10 and height 12. calculate the volume of icing in the birthday cake. So only this one is in millimeters, so I'm going to write it in centimeters, 1.2 centimeters. And if I'm just talking about the icing on the cake, then I can say that it's I can just find out the volume. The icing is also a cylinder, so I'm going to use pi r squared h to find out the volume. So I'm going to say that 3.142 into 10 square into 1.2. So that gives me 315.44. There's a calculation mistake. $377.04. So that's 377. It says the top of the cake, the top and the curved surface of the cake are now covered with chocolate. Calculate the area of birthday cake that is covered with chocolate. Okay, the top and curved surface of the birthday cake are now covered with chocolate. So the top is a pi r square. For the curved surface area, 2 pi r h. That's the formula for the curved surface area of a cylinder. It's 3.142 into the entire h, which is 9 plus 1.2, which is 10.2. Getting some wrong answers. It's 7.2, not 9.2. That gives me 767. Says Anil has a cake of slice, covered birthday cake. His slice is a prism of height 7.5. The top of the cake is a sector, radius this, and angle that. The volume of a slice is 200 centimeter cube. Calculate the value of x. So this I can call is what I can call this is a prism with the cross section as a sector. So that is what I'm going to do. This is the volume. So volume of prism is area of cross section into length. Area of cross section is x over 360 into pi r square, and the length in this case is basically the height, which is 7.5. So its length slash height depends on how the prism has been placed. This is equals to 200. So I can cross multiply things and say that this is going to boil down to 28.7999, which is 28.8 degrees. Then it says EMF and GLNH are parallel lines. LM equals to LN and GLM. Give a reason for each step. Find MN, FMN. So I'm looking for FMN. This is the. So I'm going to first find out angle MLN is 180 minus 126, and because this is straight line, so I'm going to write that. Then I'm going to say that angle M and angle N isosceles, and I'm going to find that. I'm going to say that isosceles triangle. I'm going to say that this is 54, so 180 minus 54 divided by 2. That should give me this angle. So this is 63, this is 63, therefore this should also be 63, because FMN and LNM are alternate angles between parallel lines. Okay. A, B, C, D are points on the circumference of a circle. Center O, BD and AC intersect at E, and BC is the diameter of the circle. ACD is equals to X and DOC equals to Y. Find an expression in terms of X and or Y for DBC. Okay, so DBC is basically angle formed at the circumference is twice the angle formed at the center, so this should be 2Y. I'm just going to simply write 2Y. ABD. ABD. ABD should be the same as ABD. Oh, I'm looking at this one. That's the one that I should be looking at. So this is X because this is also X. Angles formed in the same sector. So this is X. AED. So I'm looking at this one now. AED is 2 marks, which means that it might be a little more complicated. Okay, this angle should be 90. Therefore, this should be 90 minus X. And this entire thing should be 180. So 180 minus 90 minus X. So 180 minus 90 plus X. So again, 90 plus X. Then BDA. BDA, I'm looking at this angle now. This angle should technically be equal to that angle. So if this entire thing is X plus 2Y, then this should be 90 minus x plus 2y. And if that is 90 minus x plus 2y, then this should also be 90 minus x plus 2y. So I get 90 minus x plus 2y. My bad. This should not be 2y, this should be y over 2. Should be y over 2. Should also be y over 2. Because angle formed at the center is the double, angle formed at the circumference is half of that. Silly mistake. Okay, this is a pyramid. It says ABCD is a rectangular pyramid. AC and BD intersect at F. EF is perpendicular to FC. AD equals to 10. And all of this show that EF 10.5. Okay, in order to show EF, I'm going to create a right triangle between FC and E, and I'm going to say that I want to prove the height somehow, and I just know that the hypotenuse is 12, EC is 12. Now for FC, can I say that it's half of the diagonal at the bottom? It's half of the diagonal at the bottom. Can I simply calculate the diagonal using the formula for the diagonal and then divide it by 2? I get root of 34. So root of 34 so EF squared equals to 12 squared minus 34 squared. This is the Pythagoras theorem. Which gives me EF equals to 6 root 3. It's root of 110. I did a calculation mistake. 10.488. It says find the volume of the pyramid. So the volume of the pyramid is 1/3 base area into height. As simple as it is. Let's just calculate DEC. So this is DEC. I'm going to use the cosine rule. I'm going to say that cos theta equals to 12 square plus 12 square minus 6 square divided by 2 into 12 into 12. .955, which is 29.0 degrees. Then the area of the triangle, so I'm going to say half AB sine of C. last question is on transformation. It says describe fully the single transformation that maps A onto B. A onto B looks like a reflection, but the reflection line is not here because you don't see the distances being equal. It looks somewhere here. So reflection in the line y equals to -1. Triangle A is mapped onto triangle C by a transformation H. Find the matrix representing H. So this looks like a rotation. Okay, whenever you asked the matrix for rotation, it's always 0 0 as the center, and I see that this looks like a 90-degree anti-clockwise rotation. Okay, so what you do is you take up these 2 points 1 0 and 0 1. Now if this point 1 0 was rotated 90 degrees anti-clockwise, it would appear here and it would become what? 0 1. If this was rotated 90 degrees anti-clockwise, it would appear here and would become -1 0. So the second column becomes -1 0. Then it says transformation M is a reflection in the line x equals to 2. Transformation R is a rotation 180 degrees about 0 0. Triangle A is mapped onto triangle D such that RMA equals to D. What you need to do is you need to do MA first. M is a reflection in the line x equals to 2. So let's first do the reflection in the line x equals to 2. X equals to 2 is a vertical line here. Now when I reflect it, it appears like that. Then so now this is temporary. I don't want to label it because now I need to rotate it 180 degrees about 0 0. So when I rotate something 180 degrees about 0 0, what I need to do is I need to count the distance from the center of rotation. I'm going to say that this is 1 2, this is 0 2, and this is 0 5. When you are doing a 180 degree rotation, it doesn't matter it's anti-clockwise or clockwise, you just change the signs. So this will appear here -1 -2, 0 -2, and 0 -5. So this will be my final answer. I'm going to erase the rest of the working. I'm going to say that once I've done all of that, I need to mark what my final answer is, and I'm going to call that D, not C, D. That's the end of the exam.